You have a beautiful single out right now, no pun intended, Beauty. It's such
Thank you.
a wonderful effort that's got 10 different female pianists who have joined forces to collaborate on this song. I think that's incredible. Where did the idea for that come from?
Yeah, so we had it was actually an album called Harmonies of WoMen. The idea came from a friend of mine that I have collaborated with in the past, and she lives in Japan. She's from China, called Cathy Lowe, and she decided to make this just to bring everyone together. These are wonderful female artists that I've met on a Facebook community called Contemporary Classical Collective. And you have so many different musicians from all walks of life. And they're mostly doing modern classical music, all of them. So we're quite like minded people and so many people all across the world. So it's just incredible, to meet all these people. And I actually met them during lockdown, even before, lockdown, and then during and after. So it's just been really nice to actually join forces with women. And it was for International Women's Day. So it's just celebrating women and how amazing really they are.
Absolutely. How did you decide each part that each person would take, or did it all just flow together seamlessly?
Yes, yes. So actually, so what we did was have 10 separate, it was actually separate pieces of music, and it seemed to, yes, all flow together. So we didn't even say, right, we will need to compose this for, in a certain way. It just came out of us. So it was probably each individual deciding how they felt at the time. They probably thought about how they were feeling, about women and, just everything that they go through. So I think there were just very different names as well that they chose. So I think each and every one of them was amazing. Each release was just beautiful. Yeah.
Who are some musicians that really influenced you when you were growing up?
Okay. So it's funny. I did make a list before I spoke to you, and I would never have one or two composers. There's so many of them. So I would say definitely the Impressionist era. So you would have Debussy, Ravel. I loved them. I loved Mozart, obviously, Beethoven too, but mostly more light kind of music. So as well as heavier, I mean, Rachmaninoff was definitely one of my influences. And actually, it's just been voted top number one in the Hall of Fame on Easter. I think it was the Easter Monday. The piano. I was just sitting in the car with my kids, coming back from a lunch with my husband, and then they had the piano concerto number two. And I said, "Oh my God, it's that one." Yes, I used to listen to that all the time. I was absolutely in love with it whenever I felt a bit happy, well, happy or sad. I would go and listen to that piece of music because it's so emotional. It's a very emotional piece. And I can see why, yes, it won, well, it became number one in the Hall of Fame with Classic FM. So, yes.
Well, I think International Women's Day is the perfect way to celebrate Harmonies of
Mm.
Women. What kind of response did you receive from the fans from this album?
A wonderful response, definitely. And also from, I think, all the fans, people from all over the world, they just loved it. And some of the comments, that you get, it was lovely. I think, I named it Beauty, and then somebody just said, oh, it was just beautiful, it's as it stands. And what was lovely was other male composers that I have met. They were lovely, and they would say these things. So I thought that was amazing and very supportive. Yeah.
That must mean so much to you that it doesn't have a gender identification to
Yeah.
it, even though it's, a women's celebration.
Yeah, exactly. And we released it with a wonderful label called Piano Nature. And for each singles, so for all 10 singles, they would plant a tree, and which was so lovely. And I just said, that's extra special. Thank you so much. So they've sent us our certificates, but I just think that's just, really wonderful that they do that.
Absolutely.
And
Oh,
that
that's
they
so
were,
special.
yeah, and supporting so many female artists was amazing. Yeah.
Well, Beauty is out now. Do you have any other singles that you're planning to release, or are you focused on the album as a whole for the moment?
Well, I obviously love promoting it because, we just had Easter and also springtime. So it is very much a kind of spring, summer album. So, yeah, still promoting that. And obviously, I would promote Beauty as well. And it's just been on radio, which has been great with BBC is at Radio 4 with Classical Focus. And so, yes, I'm just promoting it, trying to all over the world. And then I have other, things coming up, other projects and collaborations, which I'm very excited about. Um, but I won't maybe give too much away. But yes, there are things coming up. Um, yeah, lots of things, releases. And what I like to do is actually promote. I think people make the mistake sometimes where they feel they have to, release some music, then move on, release something else, and they forget to go back to realize it's so important to promote all those amazing pieces that you have made or composed. You have to keep on, push, to promote those as well. And I think sometimes they forget because there's so much beautiful music and you don't want it to get left behind or forgotten because they're all lovely, special, magical pieces. So there's that as well. Just the whole journey promoting it.
Are there any songs on this album that hold a particular space in your heart?
Um, that's difficult to say. I think all of them I couldn't say because I love what everyone has made in the album. Um, there'll be one composer releasing their piece each month. So one would come along. There was a wonderful American artist, Carolyn Varela. She was the first one to release, and her piece of music was absolutely stunning. So obviously the first one coming out was exciting, because it was the beginning of the album. So what we did was release one track sort of each. I think they did each sort of 2 weeks. There'd be a track coming out, and then final track was Catty, the one who actually had the amazing idea to do this, her wonderful piece at the end of on International Women's Day, she released hers. So I just think they're all great.
Of course, they're all your children.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And it just, I don't know, it makes everything so exciting because we, obviously go through all the messages, and another thing is, maybe some of us have met through occasionally through Zoom, or if we don't like doing Zoom, it's just through the telephone. And some of these people I've just talked to through socials, and I haven't met them. And I really hope that we can all, meet one day. And I've just started to meet people that I met um, through social media, through Twitter, through Instagram. I've started to have, face to face or actually meeting up with them. So it's been very exciting, to see them.
Was there a piece on this album that challenged you maybe the most?
um, no, I don't think so. I don't think there was any challenges. It was pretty straightforward. It was very last minute. So we actually had to get our pieces into the record label. I think it was in December. So as you know, December is, a really busy time of year. and you have all these other releases that you're doing. And I did some Christmas releases as well, Magic of Christmas Joy with Shea Fraser. And so, there was lots of things going on around. So that was a challenge, yes. Because you had to suddenly get, oh, I have to think of a piece of music that's, really inspirational and so, really good for Women's Day. And yeah, it can be challenging, yes. And also, if you want to make sure that the record label likes it as well, that they like what you're sending them. So yeah.
Well, you teased a little bit about the projects to come for you. Are you able to share a little bit more about them, or are they still in the works?
Well, I have one release coming out. I released Eternal Love with I think I'm sure you've heard of her. She's a Grammy award winning artist. She's a harpist, Kirsten Agresta Copley. She's amazing. But anyway, so she lives in New York, and so we did Eternal Love last year. And so I decided, and I've always been thinking about it, I would love to eventually even make it into a song, but I would have a acoustic guitar version of it. It was just in my head. I thought we need to have acoustic guitar. It needs to be, see if somebody can do a slight improvisation of what I have done and come together with somebody. And to be honest, I'm fascinated to, work with different artists and do, different versions of things that I've composed. So, yes, there is a lovely English guy. He's called Strings of Light. So we're going to release on the 19th of April, Eternal Love acoustic, yeah, version. So it's very different to what I usually do because I do piano, orchestra, strings, but I have an absolute love of the acoustic guitar sound and very much either kind of jazz feeling or modern classical or Americana. I love all that sort of thing. So I don't know. I just find it very relaxing, and I'm so excited to be able to share an acoustic guitar version of one of my compositions. So
Well, that's very exciting. And I'm just curious,
yeah,
what would you like to say then to everyone who are fans and supporters of the beautiful music you make?
just what shall I say? Well, thank you so much to everyone who supported me on this incredible, journey. Um, it's been a long one. I've been doing it for quite some time. It was off and on, and it was a little bit like, I don't know if you've seen this drama called One Day. There's an incredible Netflix drama, and it's very much sort of going through the going through a journey of two people meeting together and having this romance, but they're actually best friends. But one of them is sort of doing quite well, though he's getting himself into trouble, and the other one is like a bit lost, and she's just dreaming, and she's just not getting anywhere. She doesn't really know what she's doing, and it takes her quite a long time to get to her, ultimate golden destination, where she's really happy and is doing something that she's very passionate about. So I guess it's slightly in parallel to what I was doing. I've probably gone off at a tangent, but anyway, I'm just saying that you must, to everyone out there, and, I think a lot of fans are, just anybody from all walks of life, but there's also the musician, fans, and they, understand this, that, you must keep going, but it's to anybody and anything, keep going, keep persevering, and you're gonna reach your golden destination.